Hi, my name's Justin. I'm a biologist here at Colorado State University, and today I'm going to be talking about an article that I've co-authored with Matt Hall and Damian Dowling at Monash University, detailing a new hypothesis for the evolution of sex, which is based on mutation accumulation in the mitochondria. So sex is an evolutionary mystery that's puzzled many great minds in the field. And the reason that it's so puzzling is that sexual species, like these pink and blue shrimp, should essentially be outcompeted by asexual species like this black shrimp, because asexual species can produce more offspring. However, this is in stark contrast to what we see in nature. We actually see that most complex eukaryotes can undergo sexual reproduction, and even those that can't undergo sexual reproduction had recent ancestors that could. So sex is a basal feature of the eukaryotes. And in this article, we contend that the evolution of sex is tied to another basal feature of eukaryotes, the mitochondria. And remember that mitochondria produce the vast amounts of energy found in eukaryotic cells, but they also represent the ancient remains of an endosymbiotic event between an archaea and an alpha proteobacterium. So because of this ancient endosymbiosis, mitochondria retain a small genome composed of mitochondrial DNA, or mtDNA, and the gene products from this mitochondrial genome have to interact very intimately with the gene products encoded by the nuclear genome in order for the mitochondria to produce the energy that the eukaryotic cell needs. So in this diagram, mitochondrial gene products are shown in red, nuclear gene products are shown in yellow, and you can see there's lots of opportunities for these interactions between the two genomes called mitonuclear interactions. And maintaining these interactions between the two genomes is very important for maintaining energy production in eukaryotes. One set of experiments that shows this very nicely is called mitochondrial replacement experiments. In these experiments, the mitochondria from one species or one lineage is placed against a nuclear background from another species or another lineage. And in these mito replacement lines, we often see things like decreased oxidative phosphorylation capacity, decreased fitness, and fewer offspring reproduced, as well as even death in some cases. So maintaining these mitonuclear interactions is very critical. However, contrary to this, the mitochondrial genome is actually prone to accumulate mutations at a much faster rate than the nuclear genome. This is due to some evolutionary constraints, such as parental inheritance. But because of this increased rate of mutation accumulation in the mitochondria, and also because the mitochondrial genes would have been very important in the early evolving eukaryote, it's unlikely that the nuclear genome could have kept up with the fast evolving mitochondrial genome, which would have led to this mitonuclear mismatch. Again, these mitonuclear interactions would have been compromised. And we contend that in asexually reproducing species, this mismatch between the mito and the nuclear genomes would have reached a fatal level after some amount of time and would have sent the entire lineage to extinction. But sex represents an interesting solution to this problem, because with sex we get recombination in the nuclear genome. And essentially, the nuclear genome would have been able to develop novel genotypes that could have been screened by selection that would have compensated for the mitochondrial-induced mutations. So essentially, with sex, the nuclear genome is able to respond and to compensate for the changes in the mitochondrial genome, and energy production is able to be maintained. So with sexual reproduction and recombination, mitonuclear compatibility is reset after each bout of reproduction. And this is the core of our hypothesis. We say that the evolution of sex was in response to a need for the nucleus to compensate for the accumulation of mutations in the mitochondria. So this hypothesis is based on a large body of theoretical and empirical research, and it's also based on some key assumptions, namely the uniparental inheritance in the mitochondria and the faster mutation rate in the mitochondria, but these assumptions are plausible, we think, and this hypothesis is also testable and falsifiable, both through correlated studies of evolutionary genomics as well as empirical experiments. And one interesting experiment would be to test the prediction that in species that reproduce by sex facultatively, so species that undergo both sexual and asexual reproduction, that in normal species or normal individuals, they should reproduce mainly by asexual reproduction, but in individuals where mitonuclear interactions are compromised, possibly through developing these mitochondrial replacement lines, they should be prone to undergo more sexual reproduction in an effort to offset that mitonuclear mismatch. So again, we think this is an interesting way to evaluate this hypothesis. So if you're interested in this, I encourage you to read the paper and make your own judgments. And we think this is an interesting idea that can shed light on an evolutionary enigma that has plagued biology for many years. So, thank you.